What's up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new, welcome. My name is Antonia and this is my YouTube channel. Today's video is about how to stay healthy over the holidays. And this actually comes at the tail end of a challenge that I've been doing on social media called A Lifestyle Challenge. And it's a challenge that I started on November the 4th, challenging family, friends, people on my social network to exercise for 20 minutes every single day for 30 days straight. I am definitely going to be doing another challenge after the holidays, probably at the beginning of the new year. So make sure to follow me on Instagram and Facebook to hear more about that. So in the meantime, now that December is upon us, I thought that it would be a perfect opportunity to share with you guys my own personal tips on how to stay healthy over the holidays. The things I'm about to talk about are based on my personal experience. They are things that I practice regularly and I have seen a very positive result from them. And so I just thought that I would share them with you. Number one at the top of the list is exercising. And this should come as no surprise to anybody, because if you do follow me on social media or if you do know me personally, I am a huge advocate of regular exercise. I believe that everybody should be exercising, if not daily, at least 3 or 4 times a week. Come on, you don't need me to tell you that exercise is good for your health. Like, studies are continuously showing us that regular exercise is good for us, and especially over the holidays when there are so many different stress factors going on. Like, it's so busy, there's so many parties, there's all this excess food, all of this alcohol, late nights. If you are not someone who exercises regularly, fine. At least try to carve some time out over the holidays to do that so that it balances out all of those things that I just mentioned. You will feel better because of it. Number 2, learn to say no. This is such a simple thing, and yet we all have such a hard time doing it, myself included. It takes a ton of practice to be okay with saying no. 1, to social events, and 2, to food, alcohol, sweets, everything that's like in your face throughout the entire month of December. You do not need to go to all of the social gatherings that you're invited to. If you're worn out and tired and want to stay home, you're allowed to say no and pick and choose what social events you go to. In fact, the more you do that, the better you're gonna feel throughout the entire month of socializing, because you are going to burn out if you go to every single thing that you're invited to. And when it comes to food, you do not need to have that extra plate of food just because someone is serving it to you at a dinner party. You also don't need to have that piece of cake if you don't want it, or that extra alcoholic beverage. You can say no to all of these things. I know it's difficult, especially when you are sitting in a social gathering and everyone else is kind of like indulging and having a good time. But like, I can speak to this personally. When I go to social events, sometimes I feel very awkward not indulging, because I feel like people are looking at me and thinking that I'm doing it because I don't want to gain weight, or I don't know. Like, I guess that could all just be things that are in my head, but I've also had times where I've been shamed for not indulging, even though I don't want to, and sometimes I find myself doing it so that I don't have to deal with like the backlash of not doing it. So I'm trying to practice feeling better about just like sticking to what makes me feel good, which is not overindulging. I just want you to know that saying no is okay. You don't have to follow the crowd. You don't have to do what everyone else around you is doing. You can do what makes you feel good. And if saying no to a social event and missing out on a party is what's gonna make you feel good, then do that. And if going to a social gathering and not overindulging, or not having cake or drinking or like stuffing your face with food is something that you don't wanna do, then just do that and don't feel bad about it. Which brings me to my next tip. Number 3 is always eat before you go to a social event, gathering, party, whatever it is. Anytime I'm going, even if I'm going for dinner somewhere, like to someone's house for dinner, or even out for dinner, it always helps me not to go hungry. I always make sure that I nibble on something before I leave the house. There is nothing worse than going to eat somewhere or going to a party hungry, because you go and you make really bad decisions because you're hungry. It's kind of like when they say don't go grocery shopping hungry, because you're gonna end up coming home and everything in your grocery bags is gonna be things that you don't normally buy. Make sure that you eat something. Make sure that you're going satisfied, and it will honestly be such a game changer for you. Number 4, watch what you drink and how much you drink. I'm not saying don't drink. I know for a lot of us going into social situations, especially places or parties that you don't know everybody, you know, alcohol can help sort of like calm your nerves, loosen you up a little bit. I know I myself always end up having a drink while I'm getting ready and before I go into a social situation like that. It just helps me feel a lot more social. But what you can do is be mindful of the things that you're choosing to drink and how much of it you are drinking. My tip to you would be to either stick with some wine over dinner and like with food, maybe a glass or two, or if you can, stick to one drink. And if you're gonna do just one drink, I would suggest doing either a gin and soda or a vodka soda. And I would not have tonic. I would substitute anything with tonic with soda just because tonic has a ton of sugar in it. And I personally feel like it tastes just the same, if not better, with just soda or sparkling water. And I also go for either one of those drinks because they are drinks that I can't have too much of. So I will have like one gin and soda. I don't want a second one. It's not like wine to me. Wine, I could drink a whole bottle of. So when I'm going into a social situation, I've already sort of like made up my mind that I don't want to drink too much at this party, then I will make sure that I go in and I just have that one stiff hard alcoholic drink, and I'm not tempted to have my seconds, and I will just leave it at that. Also, let's not forget that alcohol is an appetite stimulant, so it's going to make you hungry even if you are not, and you are likely to eat foods that you otherwise wouldn't if you weren't drinking. So you also have to keep that in mind. That's what alcohol also does to you. So limiting that alcohol all around will keep you healthier over the holidays. Tip number 5, wear form-fitting clothes. I love my baggy clothes. I live in baggy hoodies, baggy t-shirts, but wearing something more form-fitting will actually help keep you more aware of how full you really are. And it will help you from overeating, because there is nothing worse than feeling bloated and gross while wearing a tight piece of clothing. Number 6, and the last tip, you guys, is get rid of the all or nothing mentality. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. Life is about balance. Life is about moderation. The last thing you want to do is feel restricted, or that you're missing out, or that you're being too hard on yourself during a time that's supposed to be celebratory and fun. But you also don't want to feel like you've overindulged in something that wasn't worth it. It really is all about making smarter choices, being more self-aware, and just having a little bit of balance. So that's it, guys. Those are my personal tips on how to stay healthy over the holiday season. I hope you guys liked this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up if you did, and make sure to hit subscribe if you don't want to miss the next video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.